Hello, one. Hello, all. Welcome to the October 26th edition of Show Business. As always, I come to you as CP.
And from the horror show and Infuegotainment, I'm Jaime Infuego.
And I'm Lindsay Pankhurst of My 2 Cents and Nonsense. Howdy do.
And I'm Chauncey K. Robinson of Twisted Woman CKR.
Awesome. So, I'll put the ticker up really quick. The numbers for this week only switched one spot. So everything is the same. Honest Thief is just $1 million less. War with Grandpa, just about $1 million less. Tenet, $500,000 less. And the newcomer of the week is The Empty Man in fourth with 1.3 million. And Nightmare Before Christmas still in the top 5 with 577,000. So what? Oh boy, movie theaters, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, good for This Is Halloween, but yeah.
If you told me this time last year that the Friday before Halloween, the winner would take in 2.4 million, I'd be like, what?
Is this Bizarro World? What the hell is going on?
What the fuck happened? Was there a leak on Halloween Kills? What happened?
Yeah, it's sad, man. And I mean, especially since they're starting to see spikes overseas in Europe again, they're getting ready to shut back down theaters over there, just as they thought they were getting their footing and figuring some stuff out. So I think it's only going to get worse, sadly, which is it's a bummer.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Italy, like as of today, close their theaters down?
I think so. Yeah, there was a THR article I was reading about it. So
yeah. Well, the other thing is, I mean, if you own movie theaters, you're shitting egg rolls to begin with, because, I mean, studios aren't putting anything out that's worthwhile anyway. So, like, you're damned one way or another. And if they're just shutting you down, you're just poor with an excuse. The thing that I think is interesting, have any of us seen anything in the theater this week?
I'm a BORAT. No, sorry.
That is not a theater.
I apologize.
Although it's a film
he was holding that impression.
It's been awful because I've been doing them since the movie came out, and I was filming with Cecil the other day, and he's like, God, the worst thing about 2020 now is that we have BORAT impressions coming back.
Yeah, that was such a 2006 thing.
Yeah.
Very nice. Oh, I know, you've seen it. It's great.
Yeah.
But that a rather big hit for Amazon VOD. I would say at the very least a B quality film. Right? I mean, major release. Is that a better way to put it? It's something that would have gained some traction if it had a theatrical release.
Yeah, especially with the timeliness and the fact that they decided to drop it a day early, the same day as the last debate. They were like, we know our audience and we are going right at them. So.
Yeah. So have we all seen it?
Oh, yeah.
I saw the first hour.
Oh,
Did you have to tap out?
Turn it off. No, it wasn't that. I actually never saw the original one.
Okay.
Because I get cringe, like secondhand embarrassment when I feel like people are getting pranked. So it's very hard for me to sit through stuff like that. So this time I did watch because my boyfriend really wanted to watch it, and I've been getting his impression since BORAT. And but then I had to go do something else. So I'm going to finish it this weekend. But from what I saw, I actually really liked it. It actually had heart in it too, which I wasn't expecting.
It really does. And if you have secondhand cringe for Rudy Giuliani getting embarrassed,
not him, no.
Did you at least watch up to that part, Chauncey, where that scene goes down, or did you just like hear about it?
No, it was more so I heard about that before I even watched it because that was such a huge thing that came out. I got up to the part like after she gets the makeover and stuff like that, and like eats the baby and everything. So.
I was
mild
like,
spoilers.
my side hurt so bad. I was laughing at the "we need to get the baby out" scene.
And also the dance scene where she's taken to high society and he's like trying to show off his daughter. It was pretty.
I had to step out during that. That was very. I was like, I cannot watch these people's faces. I have to step out. I'm that person. I'm like, no, I can sit through horror. I can't sit through secondhand embarrassment. I don't know.
What's funny about that scene, I thought was like, because like it starts like, oh, this could be a cool dance, and like everyone's like getting into it, and they're like clapping along and stuff, and then it just becomes a nightmare.
Yeah, is there like what? Explain to me what a debutante is, because I literally don't understand. Like, I was watching it, not completely understanding what that gathering was. What was that?
Ooh,
Isn't that something that goes down in the South? They still do those debutante balls, like slightly high society. I don't know how high society would be at this point, but
And you date with your daughter? Like,
yeah, stuff like that. Yeah, where it's like the dads take the daughters and she's like, in her fancy dress type thing.
I remember King of the Hill doing an episode on it, but that's about it.
Yeah, I think it's like a Southern thing, right?
Yeah, I think so. It's got that kind of fancy, that kind of what's the fancy Southern accent called? I can't think of it right now, but it does kind of have
some sass twang. I don't know.
There you go, something like that. Yeah, or the Georgia Peach, maybe.
Yeah, it just looked like a rich young person meat market in a lot of ways. They're like, okay, rich families trying to pair up their kids, and that's.
And I finally found my parallel, my the person I was clinging to in that scene when the daughter said, "That's fucking gross, Dad."
Yeah, I saw her face, and I was like, "Okay."
Thank you. Finally, I'm not in the middle of nowhere here. What the fuck is going on here?
Finally, somebody says something, because everyone else is like deer in headlights, or just like trying to like the girl starts like slow clapping, like still trying to be supportive, but you're just like, oof.
Yeah, there's a bunch of that. I mean, there's a part where the daughter tells a story about how she was brought up to a Republican women's. Oh, I forgot what the group was, but she was saying some pretty vivid, pretty heavy duty stuff. And here are these, like you say, high class, I don't want to say stick in the mud, because I don't know if anybody should be talking about
like head in the sand. I mean, I guess that's a similar term in a lot of ways.
They were doing their best to be polite, but she was saying some pretty hardcore stuff.
Self-love. We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was just interesting to see how much they were respecting the female character.
I thought she was a genius addition. Like it changed the dynamic so differently to have it to be this like, because like the first Borat, there's like sort of an arc. It's more it's kind of just a collection of funny scenes, and they're hilarious scenes. I'm not knocking them, but like the story is minimal at best. But this one, again, it's not a lot, but like there is that little father-daughter dynamic going on, and they've got really good chemistry with each other. I don't know if that's a real language they're speaking. It's probably just gibberish.
I feel like it's not.
Right?
I don't think it's real.
But that's some impressive improvisation. That they throw those, you know what I mean? Like anyway.
Well, yeah, like that has to, like there's like I think 6 to 8 writers in combination of script and story by. Which I was trying to discuss this with Emily. I was trying to figure out how much is the base, like what is the kernel that this story started from, and how much did they just kind of improv and spring into other situations? Because there's no way they unless they wrote this during COVID and they knew what it was going to become. That's some foresight there, because he went to CPAC, and that was right before
Like right when it started, yeah.
Yeah, that was March, I want to say.
And then Pence is talking about there's only 10 known cases in the United States, and then there was just so much timely stuff in the film, which was really out of control, if you ask me. And I would imagine it's similar to like a Christopher Guest situation where you have a skeletal structure on certain beats that you need to hit within a scene, and then they just let them just roll with it and go wild. Although when you're punking people like this, how many takes do you really get, I wonder? So that's what I would be curious about.
That Giuliani interview, there's a reason why I like when news outlets went crazy. That looks very edited, staged. Yes,
to a degree.
Looks like multiple takes. It looks like it just doesn't look natural.
No.
That Giuliani thing. So I getting worked up about that. I would be really cautious against that.
Do you think it was manipulated, or?
I don't think it was manipulated so much as it was staged and really conveniently edited. Because
that they did one cut that made his hand in his pants longer. But I don't think. But I think. Oh, I mean, just like he was only in there for like a second, but then they did a second cut from a different angle to make it look like it was in there longer. I don't know. It was very compromising and embarrassing, and he was being very overly friendly with her.
Right,
and stuff like that. So I think he deserves to get burned by this scene. But it is possible that they did do some, little machinations just to make it look a little worse.
Yeah, the bringing the drink to the bed was a little weird. Like, I'm not saying it's completely without unreasonable things happening, but the things they're making a big deal about, he really was adjusting a microphone, whether or not he's too fat to, I mean, fat people have to maneuver their pants to
but he wasn't he like, I didn't see the scene.
It was really
like looking at her while he did it though. Like, I don't know if I gotta adjust myself. I'm like, if I'm moving my boobs or something around, I'm not gonna be like like, I'm not doing that. Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, oh, sorry, let me do this real quick. I'm not staring you in the face. Like, that's something. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Some dudes adjusting themselves. Why are you looking at me during that moment? You know what I'm saying?
I hate to admit this, but I was watching his hand the whole time.
You should have been looking at his eyes, because I saw the screenshot. He was looking at her while he did that. I'm like, why are you doing that? Why is he looking at her while he adjusts his mic?
I'm going to go back and watch it again just for that. I'm very curious now.
I was like, all right, how much of a deal? Like, how much is he playing pocket pool here? I mean, because I don't know how many of you guys deal with lavalier mics, but that's all I deal with when I film. Mm-hmm. So like, you have a clip on your belt. So like, I understood to a degree,
right,
the excuse. So I really wanted to see, all right, where could he possibly be going with this? And
I think I don't necessarily. He had a lot of hand in his pants, even though I think it might have been slightly manipulated. That was a lot of hand. Just
it was like halfway up here, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like, where did the mic string go? Like, where does it go that it needs?
Pants.
Okay, but like down there in the very beginning, like, I don't know. I wouldn't give him that much.
Right. Well, there's also the out. Like, I want to know the timeline, because when Sacha Baron Cohen shows up as like the boom operator, it seems weird, and I want that timeline, because that could be out of order. If Giuliani heads into that bedroom aware of that boom operator, he has no business going in there with that young lady. Mm-hmm. He should be saying, all right, well, there's a problem with my mic. Get the sound tech. Well,
yeah, it is the scene that's getting the most controversy, obviously, but there's some stuff that people aren't spoiling in the third act, especially like the real reason he was sent over there, that I thought was pretty bonkers, although they had done something kind of similar in the South Park Pandemic special with Randy, so without really going too far into it. But I mean, Yeah, the addition of the daughter, like you guys said, was great. But he's calling him McDonald Trump the whole time. I thought that was just hilarious. And the little animated sequence where the cartoon she loved so much about Melania, and it's like Beauty and the Beast and Donald.
That was funny.
Oh, that was a hoot, man. I was cracking the hell up, and also the stuff that leads to her talking to all those Republican women. The book, her favorite book, with the teeth and her hand getting pulled in, and it just it's not going to be a film for everybody, obviously, because it's a little more overt, I would say, in its social and its political commentary, especially, which is what I've seen some people complaining about. But I don't know, man. I've watched it a couple times already, and I think it's hilarious. So.
See, this is the same. Like it's the same voice as was 2006, where I remember there was a bunch of, wow, are Americans that idiotic? I remember those talks in 2006. And you should say the same shit again. Because a lot of the things that were happening in that movie were so ironic, perhaps hypocritical. When the two dudes put up BORAT and they're talking all this junk about immigrants, and it's just like, wait, are you understanding the situation that you're in? You're keeping an immigrant in your house with you, yet you're speaking ill of these people that you don't know to somebody that you don't know. You're actively taking part in the thing you're complaining about.
And it was bits like that felt staged to me, or scripted to a degree. I mean, that beat in particular. But then again, him performing at that rally and the actual reaction of all of those onlookers at the concert and stuff.
Yeah.
Just the stuff he was singing about the Wuhan flu and all these different things, and people were all getting into it, and they're like, yeah. So
well, that's the problem. It's simulated spontaneity. There's enough to, like, they lead you, and how much is acted, how much is scripted, how much is actually people who don't want to be a part of this, and how much is on purpose.
Yeah. It's debatable for sure.
Yeah. Sure.
So a few years ago, a casting director who had got me on a couple things sent out a thing being like, hey, is anyone's interested in the hang out with a celebrity day type thing? And this is 2 years ago. I don't think I'll get this will be in trouble, but it ended up being a hidden camera show. And the celebrity I was going to hang out with today basically pranked me. And it's like, and in retrospect, it's like, oh yeah, how did I not see this? Like the way she melted down in front of me, clearly it was staged. But in the heat of the moment, it's like, oh God, what is happening? How do I get out of here? And I basically just kind of just shut down and just kind of just sat there. It's like, I don't want to be here anymore.
So they did not get the desired reaction out of you then, I take it. You just saw right through the smoke and mirrors of the situation?
No. It wasn't until everyone came out at me that I was like, oh, thank God this wasn't real. But at the same time, like in the heat of the thing, I never even stopped to consider that it was fake. So maybe that's what's kind of going on here. There's people that he's pranking are just like, what? Just too much, too weird. My brain can't process it. And they don't even go to that place.
There is also this thing that everybody does, that you act differently when you know you're being recorded.
Yes.
That I think is, if you could act like that, shit, you can get work anywhere. Where I think a lot of that is hard to fake, and some of it, like those women when she was talking about her cuckoo.
Yeah.
The looks on their faces and the discomfort that they were in, that looked 1000% legit. Now, whether or not we figure out that this country's got some healing to do. That's
we do need to heal our relationship with Kazakhstan 100%. We definitely need to get our imports back up again, you know. And
listen, their pubis has taken a massive hit since.
What was the other thing that they export? Potassium or something?
Potassium. I'm like, what?
They just export bananas? Like, okay.
Yeah. Anything else?
I can't wait for the deleted scenes, because I thought a couple of the deleted scenes from the original Borat were the best parts of the whole thing. Like, have you guys ever seen those?
Oh yeah. Okay.
Like the cheese scene is so like, there's this scene, he's just like, so what's this, to a shop clerk? He's like, that's cheese.
Yeah.
All right, what's this? That's cheese. What's that? That's cheese. This is all cheese. It just keeps going and going, and maybe he's in on it. I don't know, but like, his delivery is just so deadpan. It's painfully funny. So I can't wait to see those deleted scenes for this.
There's already one that's floating around. It was something because Borat has his own Twitter, and he's been going at people about it and stuff. And he posted a short deleted scene. It's like less than a minute, and he's talking about how easy it is to get into White House. No COVID test, nothing. And his daughter's taken in there, and she's just at the press conference from somebody who's in the cabinet there. And it's it's pretty hilarious, man.
That's amazing. Sacha Baron Cohen is a genius. How is this movie made?
Yeah, and I think Trump had been responding to him or saying who said something, and then he came back on and he's like, well, thanks for the free press for my movie. And stuff like that. He was like, and it was really good. He's really, I feel like that's the two-parter of it now, right? Like now it's like online.
He's fucked with Trump in the past too. Yeah. It's Ali G. He's fucked with Trump.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he actually interviewed him, right?
Yeah.
Years ago.
Well, I need to look that up. That's hilarious. But I had forgotten from the original Borat that he took a dookie out in front of Trump Tower. And that was such a great callback.
I thought that was for this one. I didn't even realize that was...
I'd forgotten that it was in front of Trump Tower, but I remembered the scene. I just had forgotten what the background detail was. That was just...
Yeah, they did a flashback to it.
Yeah.
Huh. Really cheap bananas in front of that building, just for the record.
Really?
Yeah, Emily.
Are they Trump bananas?
I don't think so. Judging by the skin color of the person selling bananas, I don't think that person had anything to do with that building. But Emily got a banana for like 15 cents or some shit. Very cheap.
There you go.
So that's all I know about that building.
Also, the city it's in.
Oh yeah, in New York, sure.
In the street it's on.
It's close to. I do not know the name of the street it's on.
Okay, never mind.
He's like, I was trying here.
It's close to the theater district. Yeah. What else we got? Anything spooky? As we're 5 days away from.
Yeah, that's the thing, man. I mean, I've watched a lot of scary movies this past month, and some of them are available and some of them are not. But I can't say I've had anything particularly wow me that much. I mean, there's a few things on Shudder. There's a film called Scare Me that we really enjoyed. It's basically the actress who plays Stormfront on The Boys. I forget her name, and this other comedian guy, and they're basically improving a little bit back and forth, like horror stories on the spot with each other. It's all scripted, obviously, but they're just trying to tell each other stories in this isolated cabin, and it's great horror comedy. As far as, I mean, Clive Barker's Books of Blood on Hulu, and that's a little anthology with Britt Roberts that I thought was okay. But I mean, for the most part, it's been stuff like as I look at it's been stuff like Tremors Shrieker Island, which was probably the worst entry in the entire goddamn series. It upset me. The ending is a travesty. We had a ranty review of it that we did the day it came out, and we were quite upset. So I mean, yeah, Shudder is really where I would basically point everybody to. Mortuary Collection, that's another good one. It's an anthology. Clancy Brown, he's great in it as like the wraparound host of everything. I
love Clancy.
Yeah.
His House is coming out on Netflix, I think, tomorrow. That's the one. I'm looking forward to watching that one. It deals with these two, I think it's Sudanese immigrants or migrants or refugees, I should say, refugees of war. They come over there and they are supposed to stay in this house or this housing complex and not move out no matter what, to show that they can be part of the community. And of course, it's something weirdly haunted going on. And the trailer looks really good. So I'm excited to get into that. And then I'm watching The Witches tonight, the Witches remake. I'm going to get around to watching that. And what, you watched it? Did you not like it?
No, were we just bagging on that a few weeks? Oh no, that was the Craft remake that we were
I'm putting that off.
Has that out? Is that out yet?
Yeah, it comes out on the 20th. It comes out Wednesday, I believe. So that's also this week.
His House.
The Witches is the Raw Doll movie. Oh, I actually want to see that.
That's coming. That's on HBO Max. It came out last week. So I'm looking for it. It looks good. I know, of course, everyone's going to compare it to the original. The original is one of my favorite movies. I own that one. And it's like, I just watched it a couple weeks ago. No, not a couple months ago. And then right after they put it on Netflix. And I'm like, well, I own it. So what? It's like, I couldn't find this anywhere. I had to buy it. But so, I mean, I'm going to go in there with happiness, though. I'm going to watch this remake, not to say, why are you stealing my childhood? But maybe there's a new kind of, and it's a little bit more of a diverse cast. So that's pretty cool. And, I know with the original Witches, there was a whole thing of like the negative look that they were giving witches and, the whole thing of the controversy around the guy who wrote the books of The Witches and Matilda, which I also own and I love, but, him being kind of anti-Semitic and stuff. And so the witches having sort of, the whole noses and everything. So, I think that's why they switched it this time around, where it's not the nose thing, but the mouth thing that they do.
Yeah, it's like a Cheshire cat kind of thing going down.
I think they changed it. I think that might have been one of the reasons why they changed it, because of his anti-Semitism and that being kind of a play in that. So either way, they can't ruin my childhood because that guy already did. He wrote it. And when you find out about stuff when you get older. So I did I'll talk about when we talk about other stuff, but I watched Sinister because I don't know if y'all saw that there was for the first time, but did y'all see that this scientific research paper that came out that had the top 35 scariest movies of all time, supposedly based off of your heart rate and whatnot. And Sinister was the number one. And I never watched it. I got the idea. Yeah, I got the idea to do this kind of thing on my channel called the Scare Me Challenge or whatever that I'm doing, where I kind of watch it for the first time and video it. And So like
that was one that I just got confused with The Conjuring because what's his face, but Patrick Wilson, he was in both of them, and I think James Wan directed both of them, and they came out around the same time, and so I could ask.
No, I think you're mixing up Insidious with Sinister.
Insidious.
Sinister is the one with Ethan Hawke, right?
That was the number one supposedly scariest movie. Insidious was on there, and I do think Insidious is scary, but not, they also had Hereditary on there.
I think that was called Phantom Menace, that movie.
Because of the monster,
whatever. Different sort of scares there.
No, the guy looked like Darth Maul. That movie.
He did. That was the red one. Which one came first, Darth Maul or?
I believe Darth Maul for sure. Because that was 99 and mid 2000s for the first Insidious.
Oh yeah, I should know that. I'm doing a whole series on 99.
Insidious was number 2, and then The Conjuring was 3, and for whatever reason, Hereditary was number 4. And I'm like, whatever.
You don't like Hereditary?
Well, they didn't. It wasn't like they did this research for hours, and the way it was compiled was how high people's heart rate spiked, and because they tried to do this like scientifically. Like how it affected your body, how you were afraid. And they said out of all of them, Sinister was the one that got everyone. And then I posed it on Twitter because I was like, okay, challenge accepted. I haven't watched this before. And like, it was so interesting how polarizing it was because half of the people who responded to me was like, this was a snooze fest. And the other half was like, it's so scary, I had to turn it off. And I was like, okay, that's really a very different kind of view off of something like that. Like, I didn't know which camp I would be in. All I will say is that my boyfriend Michael fell asleep during it.
Well, there are two genres that suffer immensely from time, and it's comedy and horror, because for some reason the stuff just gets dated, and it you know, when you see a joke or something presented a certain way, it gets replicated and copied, and then it's not fresh anymore. Same thing with horror. I can't tell you how many times I was told that The Exorcist, scariest thing ever.
My mom, because as a kid I was like, nothing is ever scared. My mom's like, oh yeah, boom, Exorcist. I spent the entire movie being like,
yeah, yeah. I was like,
as an adult, I appreciate it much more. It actually is a pretty dang good movie. It just didn't scare me so much as like everyone built it up to be.
Yeah, Max von Sydow's great in that movie, and so I mean, really, for that film to be more effective, I think you have to have had like a really heavy religious upbringing in a lot of ways, just because it's like more so the idea of certain things happening as opposed to heads twisting and spitting up, you know, green soup and stuff. So
yeah. I mean, well, you think about all those heavy hitters from the 70s, and it's like the Omen. Well, Rosemary's Baby kicked it off, but that was 67. There was this little Catholic fear thing going on, or Christian fear thing going on for a bit.
Well, we're still seeing that today with like the Conjuring movies, like maybe not in like as overt of a way,
I don't think it's so religious where it's
like, well, it's like based in it again. It's like it's not quite as there's no the power of Christ compels you, but like it's still kind of got some of that stuff going on.
Did Spell come out yet?
It comes out on the 30th. I believe it's the 30th. It's on VOD. I'm just looking at my list right here and seeing the other stuff. The Wolfman's Got Nards, not the YouTuber, but the documentary about the Monster Squad that comes out tomorrow.
Another curse on this channel, sir, but okay, go ahead.
I didn't know that. Sorry, man. It's not somebody I frequently watch, but
no, for good reason.
Yeah, and also Truth Seekers is this new series with Simon Pegg and Nick Frost, where they're basically these ghost hunters, and it's a series on Hulu that looks quite fun. So it's like obviously with those guys, it's going to be horror comedy-ish sort of approach.
Oh,
so that's on the
time they work together. That's I want to see that. I'm sorry.
I want to see World's End. Maybe was that the last one? The third part of the trilogy.
Paul.
That was the Alien one, right?
Yeah. With Seth Rogen as the voice of Paul. Yeah, it's weird. You could just tell when it's not Edgar Wright. You could just tell. And it was good, but it wasn't Edgar Wright.
Yeah, I didn't like Paul very much. I just
it wasn't Edgar Wright.
Wasn't really for me.
There was a moment where I was watching Paul where they made a reference to Han Solo's line, boring conversation anyway, and then he shoots the radio and like oh my god, I'm blanking on his name right now. From Arrested Development says that to someone and then he shoots the radio and I'm just me being me. He's like, I got that. But literally no one else in the theater laughs. So that made me laugh even harder. I guess this will be a cute little way to segue into news. People have been watching on the bottom there on the banner. Candyman, the remake, has been pushed back again. To August of 2021. And what the fuck? Why?
Also, Ghostbusters got pushed again, too, from March to June 11th of 21. So two very anticipated films, both getting knocked back a number of months. So it's
interesting.
All of this is wishful thinking because it's just they don't. I mean, just put it out on VOD at this point. I think it's a little weird to go all the way till next August in the hopes that if you do it further enough out, that maybe you can get a real theater showing for it. So I don't know. I'm just kind of wondering why they're still trying to hold out hope that they're going to have a regular theater. That's what this is. It's not. Yeah. That's just a wish. It's a wish of maybe by then people will be able to start going back to the theater. But that's because they're still putting it on that. And I don't know if we were going to talk about like that. what was it, the Bloomberg piece on the opinion piece about saving the cinemas and why the cinemas need to be saved, and how, you know, movies are having an existential crisis. And I was like, it's not movies having existential crisis, cinemas are having existential crisis. And there's people playing, you know, wanting to still play along with that. But
Disney, we talked about it last week. Disney's finally starting to move on a little bit and say, listen, we're gonna start walking. If you can't keep up, it's tough shit.
Yeah.
We're gonna open our own buildings in 2 years anyway. So
there was that interesting tidbit that Lindsay brought up, though, in our little group Twitter thing that we have, about just the scale that writers are getting now in comparison if it goes to streaming versus, and that was the thing with Trolls World Tour. Remember, where those voice actors were pissed because they weren't going to get a lot of that same residual for it going directly to streaming instead. So we're seeing a insane shift in how the industry is going to work. And like Chauncey mentioned, just renegotiations are inevitable because we are seeing such a significant shift. So
labor's going to have to renegotiate. Basically, the unions and stuff are going to have to get in that so they don't get screwed over when the studio suddenly decides, okay, we're not doing it that way, so we get to pay you a whole bunch of less. But you know what I mean,
right? Lindsay,
go ahead.
Well, go ahead, because I have a question.
I was just going to say, I know the Writers Guild just recently renegotiated stuff and just had some elections, and they've already been kind of going in the way of kind of favoring episodic writers or TV writers over movie writers. So it's they're gonna, if they do renegotiate, they're gonna have to go back into negotiations that they just got out of. So people aren't gonna want to do that, and in the meantime, movie writers might be in a bit of a pickle. It's a bad situation. But what's up, bro?
Yeah,
Lindsay, can you see if there are any stats on Borat from this weekend? Number of people watched, value. I don't know how many million people clicked onto it, or whatever stat is possible, if you can find one.
I already did a little search, but I'll see if I'll try a little harder, see if I can pop something up for you.
Okay. And while you do that, I'll talk about the fact that while Borat 2 is showing that people actually enjoy watching movies at home. So odd that so strange. During all that, No Time to Die was trying.
It died.
It's taken its sweet ass time to come out. I'll tell you that much. There were talks between, I think, Amazon and Netflix were the two heavy hitters as far as
Apple was also involved. Apple purchased
right.
Greyhound, the Tom Hanks movie. I mean, and also another film that I watched, not scary or anything, that just came out this weekend, which was On the Rocks, the new Bill Murray. What's her name from? Why does it always elude me? It's the new Sofia Coppola movie, basically.
Rashida Jones.
Rashida Jones. Her name always eludes me.
Once again, you're disrespecting
Last week.
Jones.
So not trying to. I have loved her since she guested on The Office before migrating over to Parks and Rec. But no, that was a movie that I think it still played in limited theaters for a little bit, but Apple Plus TV ended up buying it, and so they just premiered that exclusively this past weekend. I liked it. It's been getting some hate from critics saying it's dull. There's not really much happening, predictability, whatever. But I mean, it's got Jenny Slate, Marlon Wayans. The cast is good. It's well directed, and it's a nice, endearing little tale of father and daughter kind of repairing their relationship a little bit. I actually really liked it. So, but just more movies that totally would have been theatrical. Just not getting it.
And in regards to 007, I read a couple of contrary things that were being said, that as little as 40 million was offered to borrow rights to it until they felt ready to release it to theaters. And I would have said no to that too. I mean, give us 40 million and then show it to everybody in your audience, and then we'll take it back and maybe get some scraps. And on the flip side, which this has been reported by a couple of people, MGM, more importantly, Universal is the worldwide distributor they wanted at least 500 million, and everybody walked away from that. I don't know if Bond is a $500 million property, but
I think certain installments certainly have been. I don't know if this one necessarily
it's
will
big
be,
in the UK.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's you know, that's Disney money right there. 500 million. I'm assuming they're just purchasing the finished film. They're not putting any sort of production on that. So they're just buying a movie to repackage. 500 million is a lot. If you told me Toy Story 5 were for sale at 500 million, even there, I'd be a little nervous. And that's a Pixar movie.
Yeah, I think they've all made at least $1 billion, right? Or something.
You gotta market it, and there's still a little bit of work you got to throw into it.
Well, and they're also coming off a kind of poorly received previous installment. I think really they were banking that with this being Bond 25 and whatever prestige that number brings, and also being the final Daniel Craig, there's hope it's going to be more successful and maybe even beat out projections. But what do you even project at this point? I mean, there's even uncertainty going into next spring as far as if there will be a vaccine yet and all this stuff. So
we have to. Somebody has to remind me that on the next dead week that we have upcoming, we have to do like a spotlight on the movies that just keep pushing back, like Quiet Place 2, Bond.
I keep forgetting about Quiet Place.
Who else just keeps pushing back?
Fast and the Furious.
Fast and the Furious. Candyman now. There has to be a reason to this. Apparently Universal's announcing something about Halloween Kills this week.
They have like a panel. They're calling it Blumfest. It's going to be similar to the DC Fandom that Warner Brothers did. So they're going to talk about Freaky, which is the one with Vince Vaughn, and the whole Freaky Friday body switch slasher that's coming out.
That trailer actually looks good, though.
Yeah, I do want to see that too. Yeah.
Although she looks like the actress playing looks like a mini version of Amber Heard. Is it me? Does she not look like Amber Heard?
I can kind of see it. Yeah.
I'm like, is this like this Amber Heard? I don't know. I don't know.
Oh, I can see that actually. Oh my God.
Blumhouse is so hit or miss though, because what Sinister was Blumhouse. Sinister was Blumhouse, and I was like, yeah, no, it came up. It was Blumhouse. I was like, oh, okay. And I was like, oh, okay.
So
Blumhouse does a lot of stuff. Blumhouse is a lot of miss, and when they hit, you're like, oh, Blumhouse.
What was the drum movie they did that won all the Oscars or was up for a bunch of awards?
Whiplash? Was that?
Yeah, that was him. I love that movie. That movie is great movie. Good, man.
No, that's a fantastic movie. Yeah.
I have some interesting numbers for you, by the way, CP.
All right.
Nothing related to Borat, sadly. I can't find anything specific, but I do have some interesting numbers for James Bond things.
Numbers turn me on, so go on.
Well, sir,
the place to his heart, man.
The last couple of James Bond movies, the Daniel Craig ones have made 606 million, 589 billion, 1.1 billion, and 880 million.
Yeah,
the 500 is not completely absurd.
To break even.
Exactly. And you do need to also acknowledge that Spectre made $300 million less than Skyfall did. So technically, these movies are on a downward trend. So that's not really an encouraging thing to make with that big of a purchase.
Do you have home video sales, sir?
I will find that, but I do have, because we talked about them doing so much better, in the UK than they do here sometimes. All four of them, made at least 71% of their money overseas. Yeah. So even if our theaters here are done, you could make an easy argument that a James Bond movie would make a boatload of money right now, as long as theaters don't.
Yeah, in Europe.
And also, do get in China. We see how thriving their box office is right now. So,
right. But I will see what I can find about home video sales for Bonds for you, sir.
I guess my question is, go ahead.
Oh, so I was just going to chime in real quick and say, why not take the Mulan approach? Put it in theaters across the pond, and then VOD, premium VOD, $20-$30 in North America. I think they could probably do okay. So.
I guess my question is, you said, was it said that Netflix was also thinking about it, or so? Because I guess the question is, when you have a movie they're asking you for $500 million, I guess it's like, what is to be earned? Like if Netflix was to take it, I think the membership would do a revolt if suddenly we had to pay extra to watch that. So it'd be like, are they going to get a whole bunch of new subscribers from that? Or is this just like, oh, look, Netflix, what's the benefit of getting something like that?
That's a good point. That's a good point. Netflix, like, people who have Netflix have Netflix. It's not like it's this thing like, oh, man, I really want to watch Bond. I guess I'll finally sign up for Netflix. Like, you're not going to get that many people doing that. Like, Netflix people are Netflix people. Bond, I don't think is something, if it makes more sense for Apple.
Yeah, because then it's a payment or getting more people. If they wanted to slice it up in like 25 pieces, they could have done Quibi. But that's now dead in the water.
Quibi's gone, so there's no more of that.
You can't do that. Man, that was quick too. They didn't even try to get that to go on longer. That was crazy. I didn't know it was gonna go under that quick. I was like, wow, that's quick.
Yeah.
Guess they just cut their losses.
One thing I was just looking at from 6 days ago in Variety about Netflix is that they saw significant drops in their stocks because the third quarter numbers for new subscribers have been significantly less than they had anticipated. So after 15.8 million in quarter one, that went down to 10.1 million in quarter two, and then it's only 2.2 million so far in the third quarter of 2020. Shares were down 6% in after-hours trading, blah, 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 blah. But yeah, I also think that has something to do with the fact that Disney Plus has exceeded expectations. They already have over 60 million subscribers, and even HBO Max is boasting nearly 30 themselves. So there's a lot more competition in their proverbial pond where they've always been the big fish,
Yeah, we are in a recession, though. Netflix was literally the first thing that we cut when we were making decisions. It was like, all right, Netflix,
it is the priciest of all of them.
Yeah,
too.
Right.
I thought HBO Max was more expensive.
I paid $12.99 for mine.
HBO Max.
HBO Max, yeah.
Well, maybe when you start doing because Netflix has that thing like two people be watching at a time, or like before for an extra cost or something
HD,
like that.
You have to pay an extra $1 for too. Like, listen, I'm not watching in fucking
it's
720.
Yeah, it's extra for 4K too. I think it's a couple bucks more for that. So.
Yeah, savage bastard.
See, I share my Netflix with my brother.
Want more.
Yeah, my brother. I share my Netflix with my brother and get that from him, and then he pays for HBO Max. So I don't know these prices like that. Yeah. I thought the HBO Max was the more expensive one, but that makes sense.
Emily used to be able to use her family's various accounts, but without a VPN, they're like, wait a minute. How are you watching something in New York today, and then you're watching something in London 3 hours later? What do you? Yeah, we're sharing. Sorry.
Don't ask questions you don't want the answers to. Netflix.
It's just VPN. Let me pick up with the chat while Lindsay still gives some stats.
Oh, I'm ready to go, but go to the chat. Yeah.
Hello, everybody. I think this is my first time saying hello. Apologies. For future reference, we'll lean more on the end to get to you guys. But we appreciate you all the same. What's up, Dale? Dale said he couldn't make it tonight, but have fun. Dale, thanks for stopping by. Appreciate just that. That's cool. Stiff Kittens, welcome. That's not the way you spell come. Blu-ray Madness, what's going on? Patrick Holmes, what's going on? Trini says that stuff was scripted in reference to Borat, which I certainly would not argue, but there's just something loose all over the place. Now they're talking about the languages that were actually being spoken. It was Bulgarian and Hebrew that they were speaking to one another. Emily, my wife, of course, quoting all other countries have inferior potassium. I'd like to hear about their pubis because, that export went down. Alex James says, my mom thought The Birds was terrifying. Yeah. My grandmother said the same thing. That's an experience when people ask these types of what if type questions. If you could go experience a movie for the first time, what would it be? I would want to experience Psycho for the first time opening night, because apparently they said nothing's ever happened like that, where they didn't expect, leads didn't die back then. You didn't kill off the lead. And it was the first time they saw such violence. And it was just, you think about it now, it's like, those are strategic cuts. What do you mean violence?
Was Psycho the movie that there was cutouts of Hitchcock outside the theater that with a word bubble that said "Don't spoil the ending"?
Yes, you weren't allowed in the movie if you were late.
That's amazing. Wait, she doesn't die till an hour into the movie. Spoilers. Sorry, chat. How late were people showing up to the movie back then?
Dude, I kind of dig it where, Hitchcock, not Universal, where Universal's fuck, we don't care if they're late. That's our money, asshole.
Dedicated to his craft. Props there.
Yes.
Trini says The Omen did it for him.
I watched The Omen for the first time recently, actually. I actually really enjoyed it. It was very creepy. I think it's a mixture, right? It's certain movies like The Exorcist and stuff. I think for me, when I watched The Exorcist, I wasn't very scared, but others said, but I think it was because before that moment that I watched it for the first time, I had seen so many different versions of it through other people making it. So it was none of that stuff they were doing was new to me. But then I don't know, I think there are some movies that are kind of timeless, where no matter when you watch them, there's a creepy factor to it. When I saw the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, like we were talking about last week, and I had actually seen the original one first, I mean, the remake first with Jessica Biel, I was creeped out by that first one. That first one creeped me out, and it was from the 1970s. Halloween still creeps me out, the first one. So I don't know, I think I guess it depends on the atmosphere. There's certain ways that directors and stuff can do things that can be timeless a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, talking about that end of Texas Chainsaw where he's just swinging the saw around, just it's like
just
a dance.
chaos.
It's horrifying. It's beautiful. It's chaos. It's so weird. Haunting.
She's in the back of the truck, and you just you don't know if she's lost her shit. She's happy that she's gone, or she's finally lost her mind. That you believe every bit of insanity that's going on with her face there.
Mm-hmm.
It's some of the only good acting in the entire movie, though, to be fair. I mean, so many of those other characters, I tell you. For timeless horror, the first Alien movie it still holds up because of those quick shots of the creature and the dining scene with the choking and everything. I've talked to lots of nephews or stuff like that who are just man, that they're teenagers, and they're that still messed me up. You guys were at least right about that one. So
well, I think the other acters didn't know it was going to happen, right? Only
I think they surprised them.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
You can't replicate that, man. That's
they're probably what is I didn't sign this contract for that.
I'm never working with Ridley Scott again. You took years off my life, sir.
That was funny. See. I mean, I think that's horror too sometimes, right? It's not just the gimmicks, it's what, I think one of the reasons why The Conjuring, the new Conjuring, the Conjuring universe as it's been created, which I love, is because of the fact it's not just, or even with the Haunting series with Bly Manor and Haunting Hill, it's they're not just playing on the same gimmicks, okay, except for the nun, where it was like, jump scare. It was like they created an atmosphere. There was something going on with these characters underneath the surface that wasn't just about this monster in a basement or something. And I think things like that are timeless. I think that's what makes a horror movie withstand being something that gets dated, I guess.
Yeah, that's a good point. You'll hear this again from me in a couple of days in the 31 video, but I have similar thoughts about It Chapter 1. It Chapter 1, I love that movie. For me, it feels like Stand By Me. But the parts I could really do without are the jump scares
and the gimmicks.
Yeah. So, you can horror, I don't know, maybe teenager horror, like if you're trying to scare kids, I guess their short attention span, they need some sort of stimulation, but give me a good story. You can make a good horror movie without fucking doing the fucking all this crazy
or his eye randomly down in the second one. There was so much weird CGI choices in It Chapter 1 and Chapter 2. I was like, there was no reason for that moment.
Apparently, his eyes, he could actually do that.
But still, I don't care. So I don't care if it was CGI. It was just random. It was just like, why? I don't understand. Is this creepy? Like, I don't know. I still maintain that Tim Curry's like that. It to me was a timeless one. Like that is he's a clown with a New York accent. You know what I mean? Like Jimmy. And it's just like, yo, why is he talking like that? Like something like balloons, he sounds like he's gonna like shake me in the friggin' alleyway. Like there's something so creepy about those things, the balloons popping and blood coming out. It's not really, it's just creepiness, that just works no matter if it was like 20-something years ago or 30-something years ago. And I would argue that in a few years, I feel like It Chapter 1 and It Chapter 2 are going to be very dated. And I don't think it'll withstand this kind of time that the other one did. Yeah, it was on that research, that paper I was telling y'all about, that's it. Chapter 1 is actually on top 35. And I'm like, how? Like maybe it's just because people don't like clowns. I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe that contributed.
I just recently rewatched all of them. I'm sorry, guys. The original It is atrocious. Tim Curry is incredible.
Yeah, I completely disagree. But art is subjective, as I say all the time. I like the kids better in that one. Personally.
No, as a Rotten Tomatoes film critic, I am going to use this to say you are wrong.
Oh no. I think Tim Curry's performance is strong enough to warrant the watch, is what I'll say. But man, the adults are fucking bad in that movie. Like
the kid stuff's always
I don't think so. I don't really think so.
I think they were solid.
Okay.
Yeah, Ritter, a guy from Night Court. I mean, granted, the dude who plays Big Bill isn't so good, but I don't really mind anybody else in it. And I do actually enjoy the kids better in that one.
Yeah.
Little kid from Sequest before he hung himself, and Seth Green. I mean, I really have a soft spot in my heart for that one, and I was not as much of a fan of Chapter 1 and Chapter 2. I appreciated them, but Skarsgård, I mean, I'll at least give Skarsgård credit for doing something different, because Tim Curry felt like a clown, like an actual person playing clown. But in the source material in the book, I mean, it's some otherworldly entity, and so it felt more like somebody trying to act like a clown, some weird otherworldly creature trying to like make you think it was a clown instead of just like a clown, I guess.
Fuego, if I've asked you this 6 times already, I apologize. But what is the reason he goes after the guy who was beaten? Because that guy wasn't
in Chapter 2. In Chapter 2,
I have only the movies in my head. I haven't read the book.
Because he had a childlike imagination or something, right? Isn't that explained in the book? Like he had kind of you're talking about the gay couple, right?
The gay guy who is
he kind of had like a childlike disposition about him, like the way I think that's what it said in the book. At least it was
really just a wrong place, wrong time, and the fact that that like Adrian Mellon's character was so like frightened from the abuse that he was getting and the hate, and then he gets thrown down there, and like basically the entity that is Pennywise smells fear, and it was reemerging, and so it smelled the fear of this young gay kid who was being abused and beat up and everything, and he got beat up in the first place because he was out in public being flamboyant. And you have to remember the book was like 86, I think, so that was still, especially in a place like New England, like more rural suburban Maine and stuff. I mean, still a lot of stuff not being
in the book.
In the book, he's being flamboyant and just parading around and PDA and all that other stuff, and every right to do that, but these good old boy types see him and they beat the shit out of him and they throw him down. And he's in the river area, which connects with the sewers, and so he smelled the fear and he just went to Chowtown, man. And that's kind of the basis of it. I thought that scene was very effectively done. I was surprised that in this modern climate that they would actually do something like that, because it was jarring and it was upsetting to watch. But I thought it was an effective scene for that reason. So
I would have liked some comeuppance, like
for those guys.
Yeah. I mean, I like it when a movie hits hard, but let's go full circle. And I'm sorry, but Meg Ryan, what fucking reference was that? That reference is so dated. In shit, it wouldn't have been dated in the first It movie. I don't know what the Meg Ryan hairdo was. Sick burn, bro. Aaron, what's going on? Do you plan on live streaming next Tuesday? Next Tuesday is what? Is that Halloween?
The election.
The elections.
And my birthday.
I don't know.
I already voted, so I mean,
we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Fuck. We'll take bets. We'll take shots and bets. I don't know. Fuck it. Alex says filming is down 80% due to number 1, COVID precautions, and 2, lack of funding. Yeah, everybody's kind of holding tight now because nobody knows what the fuck to expect. But if somebody were to just gamble, like say, I don't know, a studio that has a finished product that they wouldn't have to put any more money into, like say A Quiet Place 2
or a Snyder cut.
Well, that's happening, right? They're
No, I know, just joking at the ready to go-ness. Anyway, sorry, keep going.
And which we'll get to that in a hot second.
Isn't Halloween Kills done?
Yes.
So why did they come out with that? That's silly.
It's a very good point.
I think it's more so movies that they spend a lot of money on, because they didn't spend crap on Borat or even the Sofia Coppola movie that I mentioned. Those are smaller budget sort of films. I still think that they're hoping for the big recoups by holding out for eventual theaters for some of these like bigger movies.
Blumhouse could be superheroes this week and say, you know what, Happy Halloween, we're doing a VOD special, Halloween Kills.
I'm wondering if like Blumhouse is going to announce like Blumhouse All Access or something like that.
Do it.
Just like they're going to start their own streaming service. Do it. And they're going to premiere Halloween Kills on it or something.
$50. There's people who would pay for it, right?
Right. Yeah. No, definitely.
I'm telling you, there's no reason for Halloween Kills to be pushed. Zero.
Mic drop, right?
Because even with the horror movies, I mean, I guess unless there's like a lot of CGI and stuff like that, they tend to cost less to make than other ones. So it's like it really doesn't make that much sense why they would need to push that. I mean, except like what we're talking about, the idea that thinking about everyone going back to the theater, but that may be some time to come for people to, flock back in droves.
Yeah, what I read about the test screenings about Halloween Kills. I read this on the internet. Was that the movie was done, that the music was half done. That was it. The music wasn't done, but the film was done. That's what I read on the internet.
Well, I'm assuming that the music for that movie is very operatic, so they need to have singers with masks off their face, singing as Michael, so they can't really record all
I'm
that.
I'm of the understanding that they blended the first soundtrack and the soundtrack from 2018, although that could be a theory.
I thought I heard Carpenter was working on some new material for it, but maybe that was they were still in the finishing process, and that's stuff that they will work up until like right before releases sometimes, right? Even with certain effects, they'll sometimes tinker with those like days before it's sent out to theaters. So.
Yeah, look at Cat.
Go ahead, ladies first. Go ahead.
They still had the hands, and they weren't supposed to, right? Or something. That was a weird movie.
Judi Dench's Ring or something like that.
Yeah,
visible, right?
I was like, wow, they really rushed it for award season at that.
Yeah, honestly, that movie with some mind-altering assistance was weird enough to be entertaining. I guess I'll leave it at that.
I could see that.
I still haven't. Mixing was weird.
Oh, really?
I couldn't hear what they were singing some of the time. I don't know if that was just me or maybe the theater I was in. I couldn't understand Jason Derulo's lyrics. I was just like, I don't know what this guy is saying.
Oh, so it's a secret Nolan movie then, because you can't hear what anyone's saying. Oh my God, can you imagine Nolan doing a musical? I kind of want to see that now.
All right. So Aaron says theaters are open where I am, so they need to just open up everywhere. Yeah, they'd like to. I think they'd like to. There's just a lot of red tape, and people aren't going. Fucking, I know. You'd have to really impress me to get me to go out.
And the like 35% capacity or whatever it is they're running at, that's just like, man.
And it's even 25 in some places.
Yeah.
Really?
And again, the theaters need you to buy food.
Yeah.
And if you've got masks on, you're less likely to buy food. Theaters, like, this is just worst case for theaters. They need to, sit back and figure out how they're going to come back. But filmmakers need to start figuring out how
was
to
it today or this weekend? AMC announced Chapter 11.
Did they finally
took them long enough?
Yeah. I mean, Chapter 11 is not they're dead. Chapter 11 is they're restructuring everything.
Yeah.
Just to clarify, AMC is not over. Chapter 7 is when they're done, apparently, or Chapter 8. Chapter 7 or 8 is you're over and it's done with. Chapter 11 is like we're still trying.
I'm like, they were trying to get me to go see Kajillionaire and War with Grandpa. I'm still getting the little notifications. Friendsgiving, that was apparently something else that came out this weekend. And that Empty Man, which looks like the Bye Bye Man, but even like 100 times worse.
I love the Bye Bye Man.
I started getting screener invites, and I was like, "Oh, we're coming back around a little bit here."
I just got one today for Freaky to see it 2 weeks early on Thursday, and
the stuff is garbage.
Cecil and I are going to go. So
there's nothing worth talking about. The stuff I'm getting right now, but
then I've also got these virtual screenings. Like I got one for that. Oh goodness, it's some new movie.
Blumhouse, that Blumhouse 4-pack or whatever.
No, not that. Well, I did get the invites for that, but since I have Hulu already, I was like, I don't really care. And I heard they were, and I heard all 4 of them were relatively mediocre. I think there was one that looked kind of intriguing, and when we did some trailer reactions, but it's slim pickings, man. But I'm so much more inclined for a virtual screener if that's the case. But it's still a specific day. They're like Come True, I think, is one that's this week, or maybe it's something else. But in any event, you have to like sign in at this specific time and get in a virtual wait line. It's just all the weird hoops you have to jump through is a little bit strange.
I feel like Disney is on that too, in terms of just like the whole thing. Like they're not trying to do the thing. Like there's been Disney virtual ones. Where they're like, come to this virtual one. And I'm like, see, that's what I like this virtual.
Yeah.
Let's do a virtual screening. That's cool. Get a Q&A afterwards with whoever did it.
And they could do it like this so that, like, you know, you could protect yourself against piracy, and you can see that the people are watching. Like, there's ways to, like, you know, you can do it. You just gotta, you know, get some idea people, for fuck's sake.
I got ideas.
I have ideas.
It's a new way of having to look at, you know, I mean, even with I saw a thing, those pods that are like book bags. I had said dystopian chic, but like they have these pods and you can put your hand in them, and they're like a book bag on top, and it's like this pod, and you can kind of like, I guess, put your hand in and like feed yourself type thing. And I'm like, maybe that's the future when you go to the theater, having this pod mask, and you can put your hands inside and like feed yourself. You know, maybe you can slide your food in there or something.
Yo, your face would get all steamed up.
No, there's a filter in the back of it that makes it so it won't steam up.
They're incredibly advanced.
I can't have food this close to my face and just leave it there. Just for like
the first half hour, though, maybe, you know, 'cause that's when people eat, like in the first half hour of the movie. So you put it on the side, and you could, like, your hands are free until you go inside of the thing. And this is a real product. I'm not even bullshitting. Like, this is a real product that I saw a video of.
I've seen it too. I can contend.
Yeah, they had the models on there, and they, you know, I'm like, this is the stuff you see in movies about like a futuristic commercial that you're like, oh, that's so silly, like, and then I'm looking at it, literally these people modeling with these pods on, like, the new future. Looking your hands. I'm like, what?
If America is about anything, it's convenience. That we all want to.
Instant gratification culture, definitely.
We're really good at making something that you really don't need, but then when you have it, you're like, oh shit, why didn't this exist?
How can I ever imagine my life without it now? Yeah.
Pods are the future. We're gonna.
There actually is another thing. I've seen some things for some restaurants, because like in places where you have to do outdoor dining right now, like in California, with, you know, the rainy weather coming in. You know, how do you do that? And the answer is they've got, you know, pods like you're talking about, but instead of like an individual pod, it's like a family pod. So like in like so like maybe movie theaters could do that. They like rip out all the seats and they put in these pods, and they just like disinfect them in between screenings or something. I don't know.
Oh yeah, or maybe like individual pods or something around like the whole seat. You know what I mean? Like the whole seat is potted. You can just go in and you're in this plastic casing, right? Like a bubble boy type thing.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Jake Gyllenhaal style, right?
You go in and you step, and each one, that he did that too. And like each one, you go in and you're in your own little tiny mini room. The only issue would be them having to disinfect it every time, though. That's the same thing with those pods. I have an issue with those outside dining ones, because I'm just like, of all the hoopla, like someone else said online, of all the hoopla that we get in LA where they clean up like the homeless people tents and stuff, it's like now we have all these tents for people to dine when you can eat in your house. Like all this just to eat outside, but not even outside really now, but in a pod, like plastic thing. Just invite your friends over if you're at that point.
Yeah,
I currently have to bleach every table after a table gets up and leaves before a new table can sit down. Like, do I have to bleach an entire pod?
That's what I'm wondering. And what's the fumes on that, right? Like, what are the fumes of someone going into a minute pod after you bleach the walls and breathing in the fumes? I don't get it.
I have mild agoraphobia. Hearing this makes me full blown just want to lock myself in a room and just, you know, I'll figure it out. Just drone me my food. I don't know. Stiff Kittens. Spectre grossed $880.7 million worldwide. 135 of the takings were generated from the UK, and 200.1 were from North America.
So we're still the biggest individual country, but like all the countries worldwide together add up to more than us.
Did we get home release numbers on that?
I do. I forgot about that, but I didn't close the tabs. I got them right here.
Okay.
So, Casino Royales, and these are all estimates from the website The Numbers, which is the new Box Office Mojo.
Yeah,
that's
our new go-to right now. Yeah.
Honestly, I love the way The Numbers is like, oh, they're gonna drop the ball. We're gonna pick that ball right up.
Yeah, good for them.
So the estimated domestic DVD sales. So I guess this is just domestic. I guess I don't have foreign. All right, wait, what happens if I click this actually? Nope, never mind. Okay, so the estimated domestic DVD sales for Casino Royale were 84 million. Blu-rays, because that was just kind of the start of the Blu-rays, was 1.4 million. With Quantum of Solace, it's 50 million for DVDs and 7.7 for Blu-ray. So, they're kind of starting to even a little more. Then Skyfall, it's 48 million for DVDs and 52 for Blu-rays. So
it's 100. All right.
Overtaking it. And then Spectre, I don't know if you guys are ready for how bad these numbers are for Spectre.
It wasn't well received.
This is just so sad. 13 million for DVD sales and 24 for Blu-ray.
I guess that's where they came up with that 40 number.
I guess. Maybe. Yeah.
Oh, brutal.
Ouch.
Yeah, because you have to completely take away the theatrical numbers. So what do you guys 500 million? Where are you getting that number from?
A pipe dream.
I mean, double down on the wishful thinking aspect of the final Craig film, and also the fact that a lot of people thought Casino Royale was good, and then Quantum of Solace kind of sucked, and then Skyfall was good, and then Spectre kind of sucked. So I mean, they're following this original Star Trek films formula, where one is good, one is bad, one is good, one is bad. So maybe they're hoping people are thinking that. Like, I don't really know what else, but that's still a fatty number, man. Kind of thing.
Does that mean they're gonna have to make a fourth Austin Powers movie to fix when the dynamic of the every other good movie thing goes off, like Galaxy Quest fixes the Star Trek equation?
I would love to see a fourth Austin Powers. I don't know.
I'm right there with you. That'd be so.
Wasn't there supposed to be one, but then it came out that he was a bit difficult?
Oh, really?
I heard that it was after the Love Guru totally tanked, I think, and then they were like, no, I don't think people really care about Mike Myers anymore, which is a bummer because he's even been in a few dramatic roles here and there, like in Glorious Bastards, where he's got range. Most comedians have pain in their hearts to a degree, which is why guys like Robin Williams and Jim Carrey made that sort of just segue into dramatic acting so well. So
he was in Studio 54.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah, that too.
Yeah, some of the better comedians, not that I'm trying to lump myself into this, but if you deal with a lot of pain and drama, you tend to have some sort of appreciation for the opposite, and right. you know what it's like at its shittiest. So I don't know. You work harder to I don't know.
My favorite example is Leslie Nielsen. He was a hardcore dramatic actor for decades, and then he became the funniest man on the planet.
Yeah. So he did the opposite route. He did the switcheroo. Normal.
I mean, you'd be surprised how many comedians are actually dealing with personal shit on their own. So it's really
Robin Williams.
Right.
Bill Hicks.
Well, Bill Hicks had like some really weird cancer.
Yeah, he was dying.
It was fast. What's up, Tim? Skyman, what's going on? The Manhammer AR-15 for live CP. Do you think society should take their heads out of their asses so they can stop smelling bullshit?
Who told you I was eating so much bison meat? I'm sorry.
Depends. There's lots of bullshit. I think we're about due for a fresh sniff of, well, not bullshit, I guess. And everybody's saying hello. Veronica Cartwright's reaction is priceless. Fuck, I'm catching up. This is what
that's the woman who voices Bart Simpson, I want to say, right? Or is that Nancy Cartwright? I'm thinking.
No, Nancy Cartwright.
Okay.
Are we talking about Alien?
Yeah, I'm trying to catch. Right. Good job. Points to Chauncey.
Yeah, and shame on the alleged horror person here.
Yeah.
Sad.
I was like, I know this name. It's not Bart, but I know this name.
So Tim says they get sent to prison in the book. So that's in reference to the folks who
Adrian Mellon
beat up. Yep. Mark says Chauncey with the facts. Yep. Wait. Why does it skip? It always skips.
Probably because a new thing came up.
Yeah. Okay. Blumhouse announces the Blumpkin streaming app.
Would they have a lot of stuff to put on their streaming?
They have movies all the fucking time. It seems like every bullshit movie's Blumhouse. Like I'm not even.
A24 should put out something. I like A24 films.
Just take the two of them and have them both do it.
I
would want A24 Plus. I would sign up day one, man, and I would never let that subscription go.
Yeah. Scott B says they would make bank releasing Halloween Kills on 10/30 weekend, $20 per pop. Yes, I've been saying that for I don't know months now. It's perfect. It's so perfect. It's getting worse around the country. People are staying home. I don't know. Shit. If I had filmed a movie that was remotely horror-ish, I would release it that weekend and say, "Hey guys, look, I'm horror."
No, that's what The Craft is doing, and they're trying.
It's probably for the best that they've released, though. I mean, I don't think that was gonna do that well in theaters, to be honest.
You have the Black Christmas effect. It just got the PG-13 rating recently too. So not that The Craft really pushed its hard R or anything, but nonetheless.
Maybe they might pull a Drake or a Beyonce with Halloween Kills, and it's like you wake up and it's like Halloween Kills is available, y'all, like on Friday or something. Like make it a spectacle kind of a deal. They could pull something like, if it's done, they could pull something like that.
That would be nuts if something like that happened.
They would be the talk of the town for the whole weekend.
The horror community would lose their fucking minds.
Yeah. I could finally put my review up.
Do you guys want to take a guess at how many films Blumhouse has released since January 22nd, 2010?
They put about 3 or 4 out a year, sometimes more.
10 full years?
Mm-hmm.
Over 50.
Is it like in 100s?
Yeah, I was going to say.
Because we got a 50, we got 100s.
250.
I'm going to go 100.
250.
Okay, so I guess if we're going by the rules of you can't go over, Fuego wins, but you're the closest, Chauncey, because they've released 99 movies.
Oh, I'm so close.
Yeah. Well, it just depends on the rules that we're going by. But
$1,
but that's just the release. Like they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 movies in some variation of pre-production or post-production. So
does this include their TV shows? Because don't they have that series on Hulu?
Yeah, it was called Into the Dark, and it lasted a year. And this new
and don't they buy shit that's already done too?
Yeah, they do that too. They acquire movies.
Yeah, they don't distribute shit. They're just like, all right, this is ours now, and fucking here.
Okay. Whoa. Okay. So there's 23 completed or at least aired in some capacity shows that they've done in 3 upcoming television projects that they have. I do not know how to figure out which of these movies that are on this list that they've released are made by them or that they bought, but that's a lot of stuff in 10 years.
Yeah. Wow.
Goddamn, Jason Blum. Okay.
Doing it.
Yeah. Guys, please avoid political talk. I understand what's going on, and it is related to what we're talking about. Aaron, I was just in the hospital with a lung issue, so this stuff frightens me. So, you know, yeah, if you want things to go back to normal, you might lose your favorite show business show. Actually, they can go on without me, but
no,
not at all.
Come on, man.
Change the name to business show.
Just change channels. That's all. But yeah, you know, a lot of it's serious, I guess, is the best way to put it. And if we could avoid politics, that'd be swell, just really swell. And sometimes it's our fault. I certainly am aware of that and apologize. But I just don't want you guys arguing with each other.
Yeah, I think that's maybe the main thing, not arguing. You know?
Right.
Like, I mean, if it's related, right? But don't start saying you're stupid for staying in or something.
Yeah.
Yell at me, not at each other. I can take it.
Right. No. Yell at me. Yell at me and nobody else.
Yeah,
not each other, not other people here.
Oh God, if me and CP are ever in a life and death situation, he's going to try and throw himself in front of the bullet, then I'm going to try and throw myself in front of the bullet.
Did that one get removed? Okay, good. Yeah, I just saw it.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Wait.
Somebody named Bomb Jungle Bunny.
Oh.
I saw what it was before, so that's probably somebody.
Really classy.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah.
So Dana Carvey's Master of Disguise. What? Oh,
boy.
The greatest drummer of all time.
I like to play.
Turtle.
All right. So Alex says if they dropped Halloween Kills to stream, I still think a lot of people would go see it in theaters next year. I agree. I still can't watch.
Yeah, it's one of those movies, right? Like, you know, let's all, you know, scream together.
I'm telling you, when you release Halloween Ends, you can probably do like the Star Wars kids do and do all three in one shot, because Kills literally takes place right after 18.
Oh, so it's Halloween 2ing it?
Like literally seconds after. Yeah.
That she's still in the back of the truck and everything, right?
Yeah.
Bleeding a bit. Are we going to see how he gets out of the basement? No.
Yeah.
No. Oh, we do. Oh, wow. Okay.
I mean, I've heard.
Rumor has it.
Word on the street.
Yeah. Like I just want them to end it. I mean, just let it come out and end it.
After how successful 2018 was, I immediately thought, I'm like, there's no way they're not going to make at least a couple more of these. And
but that's the problem, right? That they let capitalism dictate the art of like cheapening an experience. It's like, you made a great film. You don't need to run it into the ground. Like, there was something very significant. I mean, you done rewrote Laurie's, story over and over again. This is like the fourth time, actually. The first one was the first two. Then suddenly she had a daughter, but now she didn't. And then they switched it to her having a son. And then she comes back and she has a daughter again. Like, you done switched this woman's plot line so many different times. And then you killed her in one of them, you know what I mean? And it's just like, just let it go. Especially since you can't decide like what his friggin' origin story is.
And Halloween seems to be the most prestigious of all the slasher franchises, but they're the most sloppy. Like, Friday the 13th, Alice has been dead. Sure, Jason's all fucked up, but they don't bring the main characters who aren't the villains. Their stories don't get so muddled. But Halloween is just, even when they had the 4 through 6, that was some weird shit, and then they just said, fuck it, we're not doing that either.
Yep. Yeah, it's a series that has retconned countless times.
Yeah.
I mean, probably more so than any other franchise and any other like iconic slasher franchise. So,
like, just total turnaround. Like with Freddy, it was a little weird at times, but then in Freddy's Dead, they decide that somehow he got some evil demons who he made an agreement with to keep killing. All right, I'm gonna go with that because you ain't never said anything different before that, so I'll roll. It's okay. But it's like, you know, and even with Jason, I keep saying this, he has the best canon because he had a progression. He was not in first when he comes in, he's human, he dies, he's brought back to life, and now he's a zombie. They decided, they made a choice. Make a choice, Michael Myers, and which was one of the best films of as well. And you know what I mean? Like they don't make a choice, and I guess that's why the only Halloween I really enjoyed was probably the first one. And then I like the one where Jamie Lee Curtis comes back the first time with Josh Hartnett. I actually liked that one.
Yeah.
I actually liked it. I don't know if that was H2O. Was it H2O?
It was H2O with Michelle Williams and Hartnett.
Cool J and stuff. Yeah, no, that was a good one. I like that too. And then they wrecked it by doing the sequel because she cuts off his head and you're like, all right, this is a great ending to this. And then you find out she cut off some other person's head and she was put into a mental institution. You went through this whole thing about her getting her voice back, no longer being afraid, to basically throw it out the window in the sequel. And I'm afraid they're going to do the same thing in this other movie where she finally conquers something and they're going to kill her or something. Or she's going to self-sacrifice for her daughters instead of finally living a full life. And that's the end of my rant. But that's all I'm saying. I just really sucks when they do that. You know, like don't build up a story just to throw it out the window in a sequel because you want to make a couple more $1 million. You cheapen what you're putting out.
They have to kill one of those Strode women in at least this next one because
they should kill the youngest one.
I'm kind of thinking the daughter, Judy Greer. I'm predicting Judy Greer is the one who gets it in this one, and since we know Jamie Lee is at least playing a small part in this third one too because they filmed them back to back, I would assume she's safe. But
unless they do a flashback or something,
I could be wrong. I know somebody who probably has a pretty good idea as to. What that could be.
He's got a review he wants to drop. Yeah. Just let me know after the broadcast if my ranting is justified or not. That's all I want to know because I'll avoid it.
I tell you, the way people were pissed about Luke Skywalker in Force Awakens, how very little he was in it, will probably have the same to say about Jamie Lee in Kills.
Ooh.
I mean, if Jamie Lee wants to whip out some like Force Jedi powers and like do some like stuff on another planet from like far away, like I'm down. Like,
yeah, your lead in the new one is actually Tommy.
Oh,
wait, what?
I've heard.
Interesting. Yeah,
heard.
Wait a minute, is Paul Rudd? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is Paul Rudd coming back? Because I am now finally excited.
No,
I heard he was in talks at one point, right? It's I know it's Anthony Michael Hall, but
Michael Hall, right? Yeah.
I'd be here for Paul Rudd coming back.
Yeah.
He honestly doesn't look too much different than he did in that.
Fine.
I look older than him, for Pete's sake. Bullshit.
My theory is there's like 5 Paul Rudds that are all just like various ages. They just kind of take turns being Paul Rudd.
It's like a multiplicity Michael Keaton sort of situation where they just keep making more and more and more.
He actually did a film. I think was it for Netflix where he did a film, Paul Rudd, where it was 2 of him, the good version and the negative. Maybe it was the 2 of them. Finally, Ashley Olsen and Mary Kate thing.
he's had a 20 the whole damn time.
Manhammer asks, are we excited for the Ari Aster remake of End of Days with Terry Crews as the lead? I haven't seen End of Days in forever.
That's a great movie, man. Gabriel Byrne is the Satan. That's
99. It's a 99 movie. I know that much.
It's got a great soundtrack too, but that's not happening. There's no news about that. Our legs are being pulled a wee bit, guys.
Now he says, are you excited for Michael Bay being announced as a director for the new Thing project?
Proving my point.
Wait a minute.
All right, we're getting trolled here, guys. For the record, I would love how horrible a Michael Bay thing would be, but I would hate that it existed. If that makes sense.
I know there is that new adaptation of the original source material like the original novel, because both The Thing from Another World, the original one, and the Carpenter one, they were a little more loosely based. This new Thing project is supposedly going more directly from the book. Okay. Who knows when we'll see that? But that is in some form of development right now.
Hey guys,
what was the book called? Like Who Goes There or something like
that?
Who
Goes There, I believe. Yeah, it was a short story or a novella, something like that.
And I'm sleeping on the couch tonight because my wife just said End of Days was the first horror I ever reviewed, and shows that I've definitely seen that, Emily. I was just talking about the movie itself is what I was talking about. So I don't. Your reviews are the best, especially that one.
God, you guys remember that Arnold Schwarzenegger facing off against the devil? I miss the 90s sometimes.
It's good stuff.
Ari Aster might make it too dreary though. Like, he's got.
I don't trust him with anything.
Yeah, he's got a taste for the miserable a little bit.
He's nihilistic. It's just there's no hope for humanity with that guy. He just doesn't believe in it. That I honestly feel like that's his philosophy. Like he's like a darker Days would be his movie though. Yeah, I mean, like
if there is a movie for him, then it'd be certainly a film titled End of Days.
Yeah.
So maybe he might be perfect for that.
Watch, it's the first happy ending he gives a movie.
That would be cool if he switched it up a little bit. I don't know how old he is, but it's like, I don't know, maybe it's a thing where like someone has to like develop a little bit with their messaging, I mean, some come into it already. Like I know James Cameron, like wasn't his whole thing is like he doesn't like cops or authority type thing. So you see that in like Strange Days and even Terminator 2. He has a real thing but like cops, like the idea, and you see that in some of it. Like one of my favorites, Strange Days and stuff like that. And when I just said Terminator, but I don't know. I feel like Ari Aster, maybe he'll get some other joy or something with like I don't know, and they'll be like, well, maybe everything doesn't have to end so badly. And maybe I'll stop using mental health issues as a crutch for someone being completely evil or off the rocker, which is what he does. I think it's a cheap gimmick, to be honest, in his 2 films that he's done it.
That
wasn't my favorite part of that. Sorry, go ahead.
That's how
I don't get it,
Unsane was kind of ruined that way too. Unsane's a really, really interesting movie, but then they lean a little bit on tropes.
Claire Foy was great in that movie, though.
It's fantastic. But another day. Speaking of people who are, I can't segue this. I don't know why I tried doing it.
I'm actually curious what it is now.
Yeah, right.
It was
speaking of people who have like
the Joker, mental issue.
Well, Jared Leto is apparently going to be bringing back his Joker for the Snyder cut of Justice League. DC girl, how do we feel about this, DC girl?
I mean, I'm fine with it. I didn't hate his Joker. I thought it was okay. I think depending on who you like more, like Joaquin Phoenix or whatnot, there's 2 different kind of Jokers. I think Jared was playing the Joker that was more in the vein of what that Suicide Squad was, more of the comic booky kind of, I put my hand in front of my face and there's a grin there kind of weirdness, I didn't hate him. I thought he was kind of like a grittier New Jack City, I guess, Joker or something in a way. So I don't know what they're going to do with him though. Cause what's the timeline? Like, is he,
that's a great question.
Yeah. Because like with Suicide, like, I don't know, like on the Snyder cut, I guess it makes sense. I don't know. It's like, where are we? You know what I mean? I think that's the problem.
So the last couple of years, there's been some DC animated movies that I watched in quarantine, and they felt like they were kind of going for what the Snyderverse stuff wanted to be. Like the very first one of these animated, there's no specific name for them. I hate that. They're just the modern animated DC movies of the last few years. Like they open with Darkseid attacking Earth. He barely gets fought off. And then there's like a bunch of random stories establishing characters. And then Darkseid comes back and he kind of wins, but then we win in the end through Flash time paradox stuff. Spoilers, I'm sorry. And that's what I kind of feel like this is going to be going for here. It's like, And in that vein, it kind of makes sense to bring back in Joker, because like if you're gonna have this big world-ending event of like the Earth being invaded by all of Apocalypse and all that, yeah, you know, Joker is gonna be running around either making things worse or having fun before the end. Same with Deathstroke, Joe I can never pronounce his last name, Joe
Manganiello.
Manganiello, thank you. He's such a good actor. I wish I could. Anyway, so that makes sense to me. It's I mean, if he wants to buy me a drink, I won't say no.
He's also a big D&D guy too.
He is. Yes, we would get along famously, I think. So I get it. You know, like they want to bring in more elements. They're trying to. They want this world in this movie to be so huge, it's like legendary. But at the same time, it's like you only have 4 hours. Like how many like we mentioned Jesse Eisenberg earlier. Is he going to be around? Like, because he was building the Legion of Doom at the end of the original Justice League. So is the Legion of Doom? Yeah, exactly. With Joe Manganiello, Neo. So maybe that's going to be running around. Maybe like the end of the first episode, we'll see that tease for the Legion of Doom coming together, and then they'll team up with the Justice League at the end. I can see it working. It feels overstuffed and going to be very headache inducing, but I can see a version of it where it works, even if I do want to make fun of it because of all the things to bring back Jared Leto's Jim. And he wasn't even bad. I liked his laugh. Like if I'll play devil's advocate, I liked Jared Leto's laugh. I legitimately did. And I even liked the hand things. It was just off-putting.
I just like the fact
of it that worked. Sorry,
yeah. I just like the fact that he did something different. Yeah. I mean, you kind of had to, after all of the acclaim you got from, Heath Ledger's Joker. You couldn't go down the same route, even though in some ways I feel like there were a few similarities in what, they did with the Joker movie. I don't know. I didn't mind him. And in some ways, I wonder if, since David Ayer keeps saying, I've got my cut and it's badass and all this other stuff of Suicide Squad, maybe they're putting him in this to test the waters for maybe putting out that Ayer cut, which from what I've read had a ton more Joker in it. So
Warner needs to fire some people if
so many people.
If this actually ends up happening where we're getting like multiple recuts of movies, then like, hey, how about you just trust your directors from now on? How about that? Because you guys are fucking terrible. You're re-spending money on one movie twice.
Yeah.
A couple of times now. Just trust the process. You're not Marvel. Trust your fucking directors.
Yeah. Don't let trailer cutting companies make your decisions for you, man. Yeah. I mean, because I liked some aspects of Suicide Squad. Will Smith was great. Okay. Yeah, Smith was great. Jai Courtner was surprisingly good. Margot Robbie.
Freaking Harley Quinn, man.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Even like what was it? Man Gator or Alligator Bro or
Killer Croc.
Alligator Bro. I like him in the actor that's playing.
Alligator Bro.
Yeah, I know. I like Suicide Squad. I just think, I'm a little sad because of the fact, not really sad, but like, I'm just like a little disappointed that it's so disjointed at this point, right? Because they didn't want to take the time to really build it up. They wanted to rush into certain things in other movies. And now we just have this kind of all over the place sort of thing. I don't even know where, how Wonder Woman's 1984 fits into anything. You know what I mean? Right. Because it's like, that was before. Exactly. It's like, where does this fit into the other? Like, where does any of this fit? And I got to the point where I was like, just don't make it so any of this connects. But now they have with the Flash movie, how they're going to bring back like 2 different Batmans. And, we're going to have Ben Affleck and then my dude, Michael Keaton. And it's just like, where are we going with this? Like, someone because I know Marvel, what they are, I guess, nice enough to do, they put out timelines for people. They give people charts so you can kind of know where things are going. And I think maybe DC needs to do that once they figure it out. But in terms of like the recuts, it's also kind of like, well, they got the time right now too, right? It's like, why not do it? This is the way they garner it. They garner attention because they're giving the people what they want. And it's like nothing's coming out in theaters for a while. So why not? You'll get people to come back around. So I think it's kind of a smart business move a little bit after a mess up.
Right. When you already have to try and re-stick the landing after failing to, you're going to flounder for a bit. And I think they actually did have a
plane. They've fucked up so many landings at this point.
Oh yeah. It's the beginning of the Rocketeer. That plane's gone, man. You got to find the jetpack and just go now. Okay.
Underrated. I love that movie.
It's so good. Alan Arkin's the boss in that movie, man.
Yeah, Joker was 10 times the film compared with what Snyder has done.
I think it was a different film.
Yeah.
Oh, Joker, the film Joker, Alex? Is that what you're talking about? That's
what I'm guessing.
Joaquin Phoenix?
And I could see them fitting it into the timeline. It's awkward, and you have to kind of just overlook a few things. But the comics have played with the fact that there's been multiple Jokers, so it's entirely possible that,
if these comic book movies make me sick of multiverses, I'm going to be so pissed because it's such a neat idea that it just don't ruin it. Just do it, but take your time with it.
The problem is they make it a money grab, right? Not to keep ragging on capitalism, but yes,
no, you're preaching the choir. Rag capitalism
because I don't like it. Man, but it's a money grab. It's like, well, how can look at this thing with Spider-Man and Jamie Foxx coming back, but he's playing a different version, perhaps. So it's like, what is this? Like, it's not even because you want to do it like the comic books did it, where it's like, let's tell some more gripping. So it's like, well, let's have another way we can put another different version of this movie out without much, to just kind of feed in some more actors, that are names and faces that will get people into theater, not because it actually will build something, and I think that's the problem.
Make John Carter with Tom Cruise.
I can see that.
I'm sorry.
I love Tom Cruise would do it, but I'd watch it.
I really hated the disrespect. John Carter and what's the other one that I love that everybody hates? Lone Ranger. I really like Lone Ranger.
Armie Hammer, who we were talking about earlier. Yeah. No, I'm going to echo Chauncey though. It feels kind of gimmicky instead of necessarily serving the story. At least in the Spider-Man situation, I'm hopeful with DC really being the progenitors of this whole multiverse sort of thing. I think that they have a better ability with so much rich source material on the comics to draw from to accomplish.
Sure, right.
I agree with that because they do it better. They do a lot of things better than Marvel, but I think
make films.
When it's right. Joker was great, and there are some great films that they do. It's the problem when they try. My issue is when they try to emulate Marvel. Yeah. It's like you're not the same kind of branding. Your comics aren't the same kind of branding, and if you understand that, you're not going to be trying to mimic this Disney-fied Marvel thing that they have going on. You're going to be trying to make movies like Joker and hopefully like the new Batman, the Batman movie that's coming out. I have high hopes for that because it looks like it's going to be really a quality film. You make movies like that. That's what you do. Not whatever that Justice League recut thing that came out. Not the Snyder one, but the one they ended up trying to make, which was just all over the place, cheap jokes. And I was just like, we haven't earned this kind of dialogue between these characters yet, and they try to rush it. So I don't know.
What's your superpower? I'm rich. It's like, ugh.
Anyway. Right? Especially with, Batman, I'm like, come on. Like, Batman doesn't have to say stuff like that.
Here's the question I just thought of. At what point was Marvel fully committed to having to go through with the Infinity War Endgame stuff? Like, up to what point could they have no longer bailed?
Avengers.
Phase 2? Yeah, after the first Avengers movie, I'd say.
I would say Guardians of the Galaxy. Because that was the first time we really got a real, we're talking about the same era, essentially.
Which was,
that's 10 movies, roughly.
That was a phase 2 movie, though, right? I think.
Yeah, because Age of Ultron essentially isn't needed. That was just like a buy time movie.
Like,
There's a lot I like in that movie, but it is kind of a waste of time.
It's just like
more money.
It's the Avengers. They're doing Avengers things. Yay!
Because money.
Yeah.
Guys, remember that comic book cover with all the Avengers dead and like a Terminator thing, like holding like Thor's face in his hand? Like, yeah, let's make that.
Yeah. No, just kidding. Just kidding.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're not going to do any of that.
Psych.
Yeah, so I would say, I mean, because they teased Thanos for forever.
Right.
So...
well, but I mean, like they could have like pushed it back, instead of doing Infinity War when they did, they could have done something else. But whereas DC, no, this is the point I was trying to make. Whereas DC, like after Man of Steel, was like, oh no, we're committed, we're building to that Justice League, we're getting that dark side, we're getting it within 5 movies.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not the great. I'm tired. I have fatigue, but. Infinity War Endgame was perhaps the perfect way to wrap up a decade of 20-something movies.
And they should stop. They should not continue to try. They should just let it be for a few years.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, man.
Yeah, they try to go straight into the next ones with who was it? The Invincible, somebody, and no one really who.
The Eternals?
The Eternals, yes. Yeah. And I was like, who are these people?
And also Shang-Chi, I believe, was just wrapped filming that I saw.
Yeah, and I'm like, you got to give a break for a little bit because you just went off of this huge movie with people that people had come to love and care about for 10 years. And now it's like, okay, that's done, guys. Now like these new people and really get invested. I just thought it was a bit quick, but money. So.
I think
because money.
They managed to get lightning to strike. Like they had so many things that, like in theory, shouldn't have paid off the way they did. Like Guardians shouldn't have paid off. Doctor Strange shouldn't have paid off. Like they had a lot of really out there stuff that like just hit.
Ant-Man.
Hit. It's just like, really? You guys haven't fucked any of this up yet?
And Ant-Man was a weak hit, by normal standards of Marvel movies, but other films would kill for what Ant-Man.
Warner, can we just please have an Ant-Man?
Exactly. Well, I mean, they've got that and more with things like Aquaman and Shazam. The little standalone things that are
Wonder Woman.
Yeah, great movies when they're not trying to connect them. It's when they're trying to connect them. We've already said that. I'm repeating myself and Chauncey.
It's been 2 hours. What are we planning on doing this Hallows weekend?
Well, I'm definitely going to watch, even if Fuego says it's bad, I'm definitely going to try and watch Tremors because I just love that series so much.
I do too. I think that's why maybe I was a little harder on it. But I mean, it's a nice looking movie, and the dude from 31 is okay enough in it. And Michael Gross, I mean, he's great. But there's certain choices the script makes that I won't allude to much more beyond that. So
fair. Yeah. I'll be sure to check out your review afterwards too, because if you guys just got ranty about it, I want to see that. Cecil just rip it apart.
Cecil even more than me. He got sweaty, man, and he was.
Also, you have a ghost behind you because you're
Cartman. Yeah.
Oh no, yeah, because I opened up the windows and getting a little breeze here in the office, and it dropped to like 66 degrees today here in Phoenix, which is hilarious.
You guys get wind in Arizona? That's crazy.
Yeah, well, I mean, here in Phoenix, the fact that it's a valley, we're surrounded by nothing but mountains and stuff, so we get kind of the wind tunnel thing going on from time to time.
I don't know about you, Chauncey, but where I am in LA, it was windy as hell this morning.
Yeah, and it was cold. I was cold this morning. I put on my heater a little bit because it was just kind of chilly, like it's this
winter.
Morning.
Finally.
It's finally, but we don't have any rain yet. We still haven't gotten any rain. We need it.
We do.
Yes. Yeah, out here too in the desert. Telling you.
Yeah, what are we talking about? Like, we're like a fake desert. You're a real desert.
You guys have
fires, but we got fires going on. We need some water.
Well, stop announcing births of babies in the stupidest ways possible.
That was a one-off. That was that one weirdo.
Can you imagine being that kid though? Just going your entire life with this secret that the announcement of my gender burned down the entire state.
My dad decided to light a couple of sticks of dynamite just to tell people that I was coming in 9 months, and
talk about excitement.
4,000 people later.
God.
I have survivor's remorse, and I didn't really have anything to do with it. Lindsay, what do you got?
Oh, yes. Okay, so I'm still working on my Trump card video, the latest Dinesh video thing. I almost had it done, and then I decided the ending was too jokey, so I rewrote it, recorded it, decided it was too serious. Now I'm trying to thread the needle between jokey and serious.
Give us every cut. Just
all the Pankhurst cuts.
Yeah, all the different cuts, right?
All the endings.
We got time.
Yeah, you'd be a hypocrite if you didn't give us every single cut after everything we've been yammering about.
Although I am going to fuel my frustration with the fact that Amy, whatever the hell, got appointed today to the Supreme Court. I'm going to channel my frustration with that into finishing this thing. So
they're just going to add 2 more.
Hopefully,
2 more judges in January. That's all.
We can hope if we get it, if we win it.
Chauncey.
This week, going into the Halloween weekend, I have a video coming up where I've started this thing called the Scare Me Challenge type thing, where I'm just looking at movies that people say are really scary that I haven't watched before. And I started with some of the ones from that research paper I was telling y'all about, the report, and I did Sinister, which was number 1 on the list. So it's going to be a mixture of kind of looking at us while we're watching it, and then also me kind of talking about what happened while I was watching it. So Sinister's the one that's coming out this week. I also have a review coming out of Rebecca that I thought was going to be a gothic romance horror type thing, and no, it wasn't. And I'm hoping because I'll probably be watching The Witches tonight to finally get around to that, to have a review this week of The Witches.
Nice.
By the way, I love that Sinister got ranked that high, because I know I'm in the minority, and if Fuego's with it, he likes to, but I love that movie so much. It makes me so happy it got ranked like that.
It was so like, and I was about to say it's so dark, but not even like the way, I'm like literally dark. I couldn't see some stuff. I was just like, I cannot, like, only thing he had to do is turn on the lights a few times. He never turns on the lights. That's just not realistic.
You are 100% correct.
Stuff going on, you just go, what's this? No, turn on your light. There's a switch right next to you. You don't have to keep it that dark. It's just, I don't know. It just seemed a little contrived to me.
Well, I mean, talking about contrived, the kid with his night terrors, like, again, I love the movie, but that kid's night terrors were like, come on.
I mean, people have had night terrors, where they end up walking somewhere, but they end up in a box and like coming out like that. Like, nah, dog. I've never seen, I don't agree. That was just a gimmick to be really creepy, and I don't know. I just
and it was, but no payoff. So it's like,
Anybody watching Spell before we come?
I want to watch Spell too.
I want to watch Spell.
It's on my list. It's on my list along with His House, which Chauncey obviously mentioned. Menendez, The Day of the Lord, which is also another Netflix that's coming. And I think there's a Dutch or a Danish slasher called Nobody Sleeps in the Woods Tonight. And that comes out in a couple days on Netflix as well. So lots of international flavor to their horror, and I always love seeing where the different countries of the world approach their scares.
Denmark has a very, very dry sense of humor, black humor. This guy right here, this is a Checkered Ninja, which is an animated film that they treat just like Pixar movies, and it would never fly in America. Some of the jokes that go on in that movie, it's very interesting. The animation's a little, it's Danish. It's they don't have Disney money, but the jokes are pretty hardcore, pretty black.
There's another Netflix movie, but I think it's international, but it's dubbed, Cadaver.
Yeah.
Come out. That's
about the paramedic, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
paramedic. Wasn't it like some type of shortage of food or something? There was a plague that hit, and now these people get invited to a hotel for the night, and it's like a whole thing. So it's kind of timely. It's like social commentary, but also a horror film. It's called Cadaver. That's on Netflix too.
That's the best kind of horror when it's got some sort of commentary going on.
And there's another one called The Paramedic that I was just getting my titles mixed up. Netflix has thrown on a lot of horror stuff, from all over the world.
At least somebody is.
Yeah. It's all lower budget stuff. I mean, Vampires versus the Bronx was another one I've been needing to check out.
I really thought that was fun.
I haven't seen it yet.
I'll shut my mouth. Halloween Day, the yearly event.
Oh, Day! I thought you said gay for a second. I was like, "Whoa, where's he going with this?"
You could listen, gay, straight, whatever Halloween you wanna have. You do your own Halloween. We have our yearly event, 31 on 31, where this year we ranked Alien, Jaws, Predator, Gremlins, Critters.
It's a great
lineup. Missing one, and Jeepers Creepers. And holy fuck, did I have a hard time with that list. So you can watch me just eat shit for the first half of that video. And then I did a quickie because people were asking me to do cuties for who would like that. And I have like a little quick 8-minute explanation video of why I don't think it's warranted for that series. And I'll probably get a lot of dislikes on that video. But if you want to hear me try to explain why that movie isn't as bad a deal as everybody's making it out to be, that'll be out shortly as well. But yeah, there's that.
Cool.
Hell yeah.
All right, so any last words before we
there was my week still a little bit.
I'm sorry. I am so sorry.
That's all right. So yeah, obviously I did a Borat review of subsequent movie films. Nice. So that's up. And then tonight I'm putting up my review of that Sofia Coppola film that I mentioned, On the Rocks, and so that'll be going up. As far as the horror show goes this week, we are going to be doing a stream on Saturday of some sort. It was originally going to be for this fan film called Voorhees that we've been covering for a while. Plans might be changing. It might be something a little bit bigger in that regard. Creepshow has an animated special adapting a Stephen King story and a Joe Hill story, respectively. That comes out on the 29th. But I'm shocked we didn't mention it because Mandalorian Season 2 premieres on Friday. So I'll be reviewing that for sure. So, yeah.
Wait, what's this Mandalorian? Do you mean Baby Yoda the series? Like
exactly, the Child Yoda the series Part 2.
Is
Electric Boogaloo.
is Voorhees getting pushed back again?
I didn't hear about it being pushed back, but we were talking to Cody, and he was saying that his producers had decided not to send out screeners. Now, that may be because of us being not particularly kind to the last fan film trailer of it, but yeah, we were talking to Vinny DeSanti about it, and he had some amusing observations. So, but
yeah. I was requested to cover the trailer, and I said, "Dude, I'll do movies. I'm not doing trailers."
I'm a little fan filmed out, to be honest. At this point,
exactly,
there's so many of them now.
Exactly. It's like, listen, dude, not everybody's DeSanti, so some of this shit hurts. Right. On top of watching, high budgeted dog shit. So
yeah, deep breath.
All right. So everybody have a safe Halloween. We'll see you before the big vote.
Anyone dressing up?
Probably. I always put something on. It'll be some paint and some blood of some sort, probably vampire fangers, but yeah, I don't know.
I've got a good go-to of just taping Smarties to my pants and just say I'm a Smarty Pants.
Oh.
That was awful.
I know, but I love it. I've done it twice. I love it. It's just
Okay.
like it's just all night to have Smarties. Like,
oh, we could, if you guys want to have fun on Monday, we could dress up for the show, to have a belated Halloween show.
oh, great! Yeah.
Yeah, I put on some cat ears or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll dress up as Pamela Voorhees because I'm looking right at the wig and sweater. So
okay. And it'll be the day before the election, so that would be something.
Which could be scary of a different variety, right, guys? I mean,
we just need to keep ourselves distracted, just like not even think about it.
yeah. No, we're on a different planet. It's all right. Well, everybody be careful, safe, and have a good week.
Yeah,
I love you all except for you, and you know who you are.
You know, they know.
His name is Charlie Brown, and he's got